Hello, hello. Welcome back to another great questions and answers version of Plan Your Federal Benefits. It is great to have you here today. And if you are new to this channel, to this audience, to this community, please consider joining, subscribing, and learning about your benefits to get the most out of them and retiring confident. That is the goal of this community. So, today we have a great question I received not too long ago, and it is about the G Fund and investing in the TSP. So let's read the question, and it's a longer one, so I'm going to break it down and give you my thoughts and my feelings on the question. So let's dig right in. They say, "Hi Dallen, I read a few of your TSP articles on the FedSmith site, and I have enjoyed them. Thank you. Next, I am a recent CSRS federal retiree with a TSP account, but I don't have a lot in it. So I am very conservative with how I invest." So, it's funny. This is a side note. People use a lot of different reasons to say, this is why I invest very conservatively. Some people say, hey, I've saved up a ton of money in the TSP, so that's why I need to be so careful with it. I need to be conservative, right? And some people say, hey, I don't have very much, so I need to be conservative, right? And so, I don't know, just kind of funny. Okay, moving on. When the pandemic hit back in March, I moved all of my TSP into the G Fund after losing some money. I only recently moved 2% to the C Fund, so I missed out on all the market rebound in the last few months. To make a little money during my retirement, I want to move a total of 5% into C Fund, 2% into S Fund, and 2% into I Fund, and 1% into F, and leave 9% in the G Fund. When would be the best time to transfer these funds based on your current stock market levels, or is there a best time? So, let's dig into this. So, if you have been around the channel for any time at all, you know that I am a long-term investor, meaning I truly believe very strongly that you need to have an investment plan and stick to it. And that investment plan should not include timing the markets and pulling money out when things drop. Because we know they will, and they do, and they surely will at some points, right? And we don't know when. That's the issue. We don't know when they're going to go down. We don't know when they're going to go up. And so I am a hardcore long-term investor. Okay, so with that backdrop, I'm not a fan of people putting their money into the G Fund when the market goes down. Because it's going to. It's definitely going to. Now this gentleman, he had just retired, so he was nervous, right? But one thing I have to remind all of us, that the TSP and the IRA, 401ks, whatever, those tools are very important to maximize how much money we have at the time of retirement, yes. But that's not the goal. The goal is to allow that money to live the life that we want for our entire retirement. And retirement, these days, let's say you retire late 50s, early 60s, retirement can be a long time. Some people live 80s, 90s, right? So we're talking 20, 30, 40 years sometimes, right? Where you need your money to last. You need your money to provide the income and the lifestyle that you want through that whole entire time. That's our goal, right? And if that's our goal, then even when we're approaching retirement, some people get nervous and go 100% G Fund, right? And I get the reasoning. People are like, okay, I'm retiring now, I'm gonna need some of this money, so I don't wanna lose any of it, right? And I get it, I truly do, The problem is, you don't need money just then, you need money at retirement, but also in 30 years from then. And so if we go 100% G Fund, that's fine for the short term, but over the long term, if we have no growth on our accounts, or basically no growth with the G Fund, then inflation's going to be there, right? And maybe the G Fund grows enough to handle inflation, but what about your standard of living, right? What about wanting to do extra things? If you don't have any growth over time and you're taking money out of the TSP, then the odds of you running out of money are actually a lot higher because your account's not growing fast enough, right? And so that is why I often tell people where 100% G fund, even in retirement, is almost never the best approach. Almost never. Because even in retirement, you need some growth. And that means some of the other funds, meaning S fund, the C fund, the I fund, it means a mixture of other things, right? So that you have money at the beginning of retirement and also at the end. Now, it's not, if someone has the preference to say, hey, I don't care that I'm not going to get much growth over the next 30 years in retirement, I just want to be G fund. Go for it. Go for it. That is your prerogative, right? I'm not telling you can't. Of course you can. You could use your money and manage it however you'd like. I have to remind people that we're not just planning until the day we retire, right? I often describe it as climbing Mount Everest. In your career, you're saving, you're working, you're doing all these things to get to the top of Mount Everest, right? And you get there, you retire, yes, that's awesome. But then you got to get off the mountain, right? Getting up to the top is an incredible feat, but the next thing is you have to get down the mountain safely. And that is in retirement. And actually, with the real Mount Everest, more people die on the way down than they do on the way up. And I think in retirement, I think that is very, very applicable. Meaning, in retirement, there are a few things that you definitely want to make sure you have in place so that your money lasts the entire time and that you can make it safely down the Mount Everest of your retirement. And that definitely includes investing your TSP in a way, or an IRA, whatever it is, your 401k, whatever retirement savings tool you have, or even just a brokerage account, whatever it is, you're investing it in a way that's going to last, right? That is my test for if it's a good strategy, right? If it provides you first the stability for the income you need in the short term, but also the growth you need in the long term. Those are the two things that have to be present to make sure that you're going to make it all the way to the end. Now, if let's say you have so much money in your TSP that you have way more than you're ever going to need, and you say, hey, I don't care, I don't want growth, right? I just want the G fund, I want the security of that, go for it, right? If you have so much money that you don't know what to do with it, and you just want to be G fund because you're not going to even touch it anyway, okay, awesome, that's great, right? Do whatever you want to do, but also, do you want to leave some money to maybe your kids? Do you want to leave money to charity, right? What do you want to do, and what is the best way to get there? That is my goal. Regardless of what your goals are, you got to find a strategy that makes sense. When it comes to investing in the TSP, you got to find a strategy that you can stick to in good times and in bad times. When COVID-19 is a thing and when it's not a thing. When the market's up and when the market's down. So that is my rant. That is my TSP rant that you, if you're a regular here, you have heard a few times. But hopefully it's sinking in for all of us, right? And it's always a good reminder for me. I mean, I have investments too, right? I have investments too. And when the market's down, it's hard. It's hard to not pull out, right? But we have to be disciplined. We have to believe in our plan. And yet, yes, I am not close to retirement, right? That I'm not. And so I do not understand exactly what this gentleman is feeling. I don't. I'm young, right? I'm not there yet. Regardless of our age, you have to stick to your plan. You have to find a plan that works for you in the short term and in the long term. So, I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, rest of your week, weekend, whatever it is. Make it a great time. And that all starts by having the best information you could possibly have to make a plan, to execute on that plan, and to get the results that you want, regardless of what we're talking about, whether it's finances, your benefits, your health, your relationships. What are you doing to get to the next level, regardless of what we're talking about? That is so important, to think through these things, to make a plan, and to execute. So, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.